in terms of logistics and preparations for the heads of states who are part of BRICS, but also the other African nations that have been invited to participate in this event? Are we ready to host all of them?
Well, Kathy, from the side of the Inter-Ministerial Committee, there is an assurance that it's all systems go from their side. So South Africa is absolutely fully prepared to make sure that even these African heads of states have an opportunity as well to be part and parcel of BRICS program. So they are calling it a BRICS, outreach program, which is about making sure that they popularize, and they're also able to make sure that the African continent is included. And that has been a main issue that, for example, South Africa, Kathy, has been pushing for some time. They've made quite a number of proposals. For example, they're talking about a peacekeeping unit within the BRICS, also a vaccine, program that will be dedicated within BRICS, and also just a women forum as well. So it's a number of issues that they have. But of course, in terms of some of the heads of states that they are coming from Africa, we're talking about Rwanda's President Paul Kagame, Gabon President Bongo as well, and President Nasibe from Togo. And also in terms of the SADC region, a number of invitations as well have been extended to the heads of states within the regional bloc. So in the main, especially within the SADC, it's because South Africa is working quite a lot with these SADC countries. So Minister Sisulu said they deemed it fit that they are also included so that they can explore some of the opportunities, and also just in terms of the streams of the investments from the BRICS countries as well, not only just to be around South Africa, but to spread across the continent.
And Kaya, I imagine right at the onset of South Africa being part of BRICS, it was very much seen as a gateway to the rest of the continent. Now, much of that also would have to do with the kind of influence that South Africa enjoys with other countries on the continent, and certainly it hasn't been the best of times in the last decade or so when it comes to affirming that role as a leader. Do you think there's been a slight shift under the Ramaphosa presidency?
Well, Kathy, that has been just a main concern facing Pretoria. Just over the past 10 years or 9 years or so, there has been a lot of concern, just in terms of the status of the country. It's been baited in so many fronts, largely because perhaps it could be attributed to the previous administration. So now with this new administration, there's a lot of energy that has been infused in terms of the foreign policy, and it also comes just in the wake of the signing of the Africa Free Trade Area Agreement, where quite a substantial number of African countries, they're all singing from the same hymn book, and really saying it's about time that Africa is able to integrate. So BRICS for them, it's quite a very important forum as well for South Africa to be able to stamp its authority, but also in terms of using its prestige and the status and making sure that it's able to rope in so many countries to understand that if Pretoria is talking about for example, investment, and if they talk about intra-Africa trade, they're able to see that's happening. So with a platform like BRICS, it doesn't end, for example, just in terms of the nuances, in terms of politics, but it goes beyond that. So another area that BRICS, for example, is looking at, Kathy, is of course the issue of the trade war in the international sphere. It's a major concern. Minister Sisulu said it may come across because we know quite a number of BRICS countries have been severely affected by, for example, the tariffs from Washington, D.C. So there has been an issue. It's a major concern because it's affecting trade in terms of making sure that also another very important element here, we're looking at South-South cooperation. So countries largely located from the southern parts of the world, them being able to also be able to work together. So when they have a platform like BRICS, that's when they can be able to collaborate in so many areas, whether you're looking at security. So recently, when you look at the ministers of intelligence within BRICS, they were meeting in Durban just 2 weeks ago, looking at the very same issues. Security has become a main issue. And you know that within BRICS, there are some countries who have become victims of terrorism. So when you look at India, for example, there has been quite a series of terror attacks affecting New Delhi.